Good evening, everyone outside at the screens all over the world, agility people, and the second good evening, my partners here in the studio, Neil Ellis and Eric Laumann. Eric Laumann, what's about your voice?
Everything is fine.
Okay.
For day two, very good for day two.
The second day is done, and we have the first world champion in team small, and a very emotional moment for us. And yes, greetings to Agility Memes. It's Germany. Today we saw such a good runs, amazing runs, perfect runs. The first round, intermediate individual. There we have the first 10 places in just 1 second. It's nothing, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, what an incredible day. Are we going to start with the intermediate individual? Should we start with them? Yeah, I mean, just class, strength and depth throughout the whole field. And we spoke about it when they were course walking. We knew there was some names to look out for, and those names were there or thereabouts with the rest of the strong contingent, which made up that top 10 of 0.99 of a second. So yeah, really set up well for a strong and really exciting agility round on Sunday.
What's your opinion? You saw every run and intermediate become later on to large, but intermediate now.
Yeah, the first time intermediate on a world championship, and I was really deeply impressed. First of the course setting, we're talking later about the courses, but this absolutely brilliant quality of agility handlers. And then when the times are getting faster and faster, that was absolutely breathtaking to watch. So there are not much moments when I'm speechless, but in these moments when I was speechless, these rankings when 200ths of a second between the first place and the third place. That was absolutely incredible. I loved it to watch. I'm so happy. I can't get it into words, but absolutely incredible.
And I just want to add to that point, you know, it's the first year we have the intermediate category here, and I think massive kudos for all the FCI delegates and for agility and the FCI for introducing the fourth height, because we can see how much of a positive introduction it has had on the competition, and how not just for how exciting the competition has become because of that, but the benefit we can see to those dogs that have fallen into that category, that, you know, maybe it's their first year, but maybe for 2, 3 or 4 years they've had to run at that larger height. So absolutely fantastic for the dogs, absolutely fantastic for agility, and absolutely fantastic for the World Championships.
I had today the honor to talk with Susanne Koldenhof and to talk with Petra Häusermann-Rolli, who compete in intermediate, and they absolutely did the same, said the same, and they're deeply impressed. Okay. The same at team jumping large. In the morning we have the team jumping large. The winner, Italy, has 4 clean runs at all, and the top 7 are all with clean runs. It's deeply amazing. It's very cool, and the difference in the time between the first 7 teams is, I think, in the team team competition, it's not so much 10 seconds. It can be fast away, the 10 seconds.
Absolutely. We spoke on the first day about this year. We think that it's not just 6 clean runs that will win you the title. It'll have to be 6 fast clean runs. And I believe that could well happen in large as well after today. As you said, 7 with triple clears. Shout out to Portugal as well. They were one of those triple clears, but they only had 3 dogs in the team, so all 3 had higher expectations and more pressure on them. Yeah, just I think we're going to look at their runs and look at the course in a minute. But you know, we saw a fantastic run from Nicola Graudi, who's a previous individual champion here. I mean, the name is a stall. It's never ending here. He's here every year, and for sure with Katniss it was about 6.2 meters per second. So really impressive run. And yeah, I'm sure we're going to get into the course plan in a minute anyway, and we'll chat through that.
And I had a really nice interview with the Italian team, and I asked them, when they saw the German runs, are you sure you're going to beat this? And they said, well, we try. And then they did it. They really smashed it. The first run of Martina Magnoli-Klimesova, out of this world, absolutely brilliant. And then Nicola and Veronica. And Veronica was the last team member. And I asked her, did you recognize with a super fast run, you can beat this absolutely amazing time from Germany? And she said, yes, I knew it. And I said, all in. And she won. She won, absolutely. So congrats again to this brilliant Italian large team.
Yeah, definitely congrats from us all, definitely. Okay, to get into it, let's go to the runs. Please give us a course plan of team jumping large, and we talk again about the course plan.
How many course plan?
Yeah, okay. There we have the course plan. Okay, Neil, it's your turn.
Okay, yeah, let's get straight into it. So first of all, I think people will probably remember, but number 1 and number 14 were switched. I think maybe something to do with the timing and not having the ability to connect it or sit it correctly before the tyre. But yeah, I think a good balance here from Corral. I think that, well, I know that goes with the sort of style that he's in for. The first combination really it ran as we expected. We had a number of combinations and handlers that decided to start with number 2 on their right and do a German on number 2. So start with it on the left-hand side, just to make sure the dogs did draw in correctly onto the correct side of number 3. But yeah, we had this nice sort of controlled start. And we spoke about the number of different handling options between 5 and 8 in terms of whether you layer the jump on number 4, or whether you go in with the dog to help drive the line to number 6. But overall, I think the line worked really well, and I really enjoyed the combinations we saw between 9 and 13. So we saw a lot of people rear crossing the Wies. I think that just took the pressure off the line a little bit. When we see as you were driving towards number 9, either to get the blind in, you are at risk of the dog seeing the backside of number 12. We didn't see that too much, but I think the handlers that did do the blind on number 9 really executed it really well. So you know, we unfortunately had a few little slips off the end of the weaves, you know, as the dog's needing to turn out quite tight. But yeah, I think overall, I was really impressed with this course, and I think yeah, it was a good balance between that technical start and then some speed required. Just one more thing we saw, maybe not so much people might not have considered it an option, but we spoke about it during the analysis at the start of the course of doing a threadle after a blind into a threadle after number 17. And I think if you get a chance to rewatch those runs, it's really important and interesting to note the dog's line here. So as the dog takes off for 17, as they land, they're already on the correct side to take number 18. But because of that, there's a lot more room. They drew themselves wider. So not only did the tunnel become more of an issue, but if you didn't do the blind, the dogs took a little bit more time to connect and commit to number 18. I think we saw that was Sabine from Germany. The dog hesitated slightly, I believe. Oh, it might even be Mona as well. There's a little bit of hesitation there just to make sure they made the correct decision. So the people that did the blind into the Threadle. It really helped as well if you decided to layer 21 and send to 22. So really good thinking. Obviously, it negates the risk of the tunnel as well. So overall, really cool course.
Yes, and I think we have to talk about some issues from number 1 till the section to number 5. I think a lot of teams maybe underestimated this so-called easy beginning of this course. We saw a lot of eliminations from 3 to 4 and a lot of refusals because a lot of the dogs going on the backside of number 3 or even missed number 4. So can you explain why this happened maybe?
Sure. Well, the dogs are really ready to go. There's a lot of nervous energy. There's a lot of adrenaline pumping through dog and handler, and just when you want to really get going and speed and drive forward and run, you have to already go into a controlled section. And because of that, you could what we were seeing and we'll see in the runs, or the risk of what would happen if you did push in too close, is that you would force the dog. The dog wouldn't have time to connect with the handler. Either the handler wasn't actually looking at the dog as they were drawing themselves in for the in, or they would push too much and apply too much pressure to the jump. So not only did you have to really slow down and connect with the dog off of number 2, maybe a bit of an off arm here, but at least some control off the wing. You also couldn't apply too much pressure to the jump, otherwise you could force the dog before it's had time to come in. And that's why I think we also saw, like I said, we saw some people doing a German on number 2, just because their body language and their shoulders are doing very different things than if you're opening up your shoulder. You're cueing almost some acceleration on the slice, whereas if you're doing a German, you're already facing towards number 3. So, some people understood that and read that situation better than others.
And in my opinion, I saw every single one. The most tricky part of this course for me was 16, 17, 18 and 19. And if you did this section not so very well for your position for the dog for number 17, I think for me, this option doing a blind after 17 was for me the best option to cover this off-course trap, this number 6. So we saw a lot of eliminations there. Your opinion, Neil?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is where 17 to 18, if you did do the blind, it could see that you were just blocking the tunnel, which is also true. It did help that, but also I really think it helped those handlers that wanted to support 21 a bit better, and because what you saw a lot of was people blinding, layering number 7 and number 8, and actually, again, look back at the runs, but the handlers that were coming up with number 18 just on this, either doing it as a backside into a German, what we saw was the handlers getting too close to the wall. So rather than moving across and seeing their intended line, actually what we'd see was a handler getting caught too close into the wall. So really good thinking from the handlers that would do the blind into the Threadle. Really good in terms of being able to help support the dog. And yeah, as we said, it just created a nice clean line for the dogs from the long jump if they did jump quite long into the space after 17.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think we can look to the runs. So we have a look to the run of Team Italy. Complete round, Team Italy.
Magnoli, Klimisova, and Nemi. This is a brilliant large team, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so Martina is going first with Nemi, Shadow of Air. Yeah, I mean, she had just incredibly consistent with this partnership. And yeah, we saw here she has nice control, make sure the dog does to get the wrap on the jump number 8, and she goes in for the blind after the spread. So she controls this nicely. So a lot of these people were doing this. They didn't want to risk the Threadle wrap. They wanted to drive the line, get as much speed out of the dogs as they can. She chose to blind. You can just see there that just helps straighten the dog's line a little bit, and it allows you to keep moving and pressure the line at the end. Another rear cross there at the end. We've seen them over the last few days. Be really effective, and straight away we could see the first dog, Martina, is clear, and really obviously very good to have a dog that you can rely on for the clean run to start with. I think there was maybe a slight delay because of the timing. I think they were just figuring out the timing, so we will just await when Gio. Okay, he's running, so he's just about to start. So let's look at this first section in a bit more detail. So he really just uses the off arm there. He really delays his movement to make sure he draws the dog in. So you can see that he really had to wait. Even when the dog jumped a bit long, because he didn't apply pressure to that number 3, the dog was able to come in. He again blinds. So I think the blind also helps the dog with the acceleration over the spread if your dog's not sure about or maybe potentially going to hit the spread. He handles this all the same. So he's driving up. He's really going to drive through here. He also chooses to do the blind in here. And you can just see it takes any risk of that tunnel away and allows the handlers to really, really drive. He knows the risk of doing another blind, so he does the rear cross 2, and they have 2 cleans in a row. He's very happy with that one. And I think this is a really good position now. Whether they spoke about this strategy, and I'm sure they did, about who was going to run and when they were going to run, but just while we have the interlude, while Nicola goes back off the line with Katniss while they organise the timing issue, it's something that the teams consider. Is this what order you go in? So we saw Nemi and with Martina is a really consistent pairing, so they were going to get a solid clear in first. And you could maybe arguably say that Veronica and Nicola have a little bit more experience than Gia. I think Gia that ran second. So actually now what you are is in a really strong position. You've got 2 clears from your first 2 dogs, and you've got 2 really, really experienced handlers now that are running 3rd and 4th that can really, really try and, Nicola's in a tough situation for him. He knows 3 clears is going to get him their 3 clean runs. And so it's probably the toughest place to be in, personally.
Yeah, and exactly at this position, if you have 2 clean runs, I think you recognize as a team player, okay, something is possible, something gonna happen. Maybe we should talk about this pressure that lasts on the shoulders of these teams, and they had to face it, huh?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you asked Nicola, I'm sure he's been here so many times that he probably didn't feel it as much as others would. But I mean, everybody's always nervous going onto that start line. So, and any break like this or delay is gonna build that anticipation, and always gonna be. Just standing there, I mean, I know that I would be, the energy and the adrenaline would be building and building and building. So yeah, it's the 3rd place for me is probably the hardest, probably before number 1, because number 1, if you get that clean in first, the percentage you need of clears after that reduces. So that's really, really hard too. But definitely 3rd now. They've got 66% of the clears they need. And we're just still waiting for this delay. It would be the Italian teams that had a slight delay, but no problem. We're just waiting to work through this. Okay, so this is Nicola, this is Katniss, so this was the fastest time overall as well. So you can see he really rotates in, doesn't mind the dog going so long on number 3, but he layers that jump as well. He gets the connection. He's already onto that collection arm because of the angle of number 7. And he again blinds. Doesn't quite, probably, I mean, he might say he had enough room there, but the line was a little bit close for comfort, I would say, but otherwise it's all pretty good. He again wants to drive through here. He's waiting. He delayed this a little bit. I feel like he could probably have got there a bit longer, but he wanted to make sure of the threadle on number 15. And again, he rear crosses, and we're on a 3rd clean run. And he knows, you can see that reaction now, that they're in a strong position. They've got 3 cleans, so they're going to be in a strong position. And we've just spoken about previously. You said you spoke to Veronica during the post-run interviews. She knows that she's in the perfect position here. Okay, she still applied a little bit of pressure to herself. You can see she did the German there to make sure the dog drew in a bit nicer. So she didn't have much of a delay on that line, as you would say arguably the other dogs did. They all decide to do the threadle on there, maybe risking they didn't want to put too much pressure on the rear cross, so they blocked the jump. So a few decisions like that went in their favour. And so she's pushing, and I watched this run as you know, as you did, and I heard her. She was really pushing the dog, encouraging the dog to really drive. Again, nicely done. It puts the pressure on. She again chose to do the rear cross, and we had 4 clean runs. She knocked some time off one of the other teams. They went in to win, and they're in top spot.
Yeah, amazing. The complete Italian team is in the mood, and they did it very, very well and very fast. It's good to see them on the first place in this round. Okay, let's talk about intermediate. Intermediate, also the first course intermediate, and the intermediate course from Anders Virtanen, right? Yes. And I think it's also a very good course, and we see a very, very fast runs. Neil, about the course?
Yeah, it was really fun. I think it was typical Anders, really. If you look at his recent course plans, he's uploaded online over the last few months. His lines are quite simple, but that in itself poses its challenges. Just like we saw with, we will speak about it with Petra's courses, but this line 1, 2, and 3 to 4 was really, really interesting, actually. Probably more of an acute line into the tunnel than maybe we've seen here. And that did cause a few difficulties. Yeah. The dogs, maybe either they didn't see it or the handlers didn't cue it well enough. And so we saw a few run-bys and eliminations when the dog went into the number 7. I think the interesting situation here was, I think I, as a handler, and what I would have preferred to have done was have the dog on my right-hand side the whole way and blinded after number 3. But the risk of that is that you're in the dog's path if you blind between 3 and 4. So what people chose to do was to make sure that they could step in and pressure the line between 3 and 4, which you saw some of the best combinations, or at least in the top 10 in that really minuscule gap in the times. They handed it all on the left. Yeah. So they would use number 3s and number 2 as an in, which I think threadles are generally a little bit slower anyway, because the dog has to spend more time getting close to the wing and up and over it, as opposed to you pushing the dog with the German. But they wanted to make sure. I spoke to Dalton, who finished 5th, I believe, 5th or 6th. He wanted to make sure he may well have compromised his fastest line here, but in his opinion, he wanted to be sure the dog would see the tunnel as early as possible. Mm-hmm. So this was a really, really interesting, fun section here, and yeah, we then saw 5, 6, the combination. We saw a number of different handling options on number 5, but again, just depending on how well the dog collected on the wing of 5, really helped to dictate what the handler's decision on how they would control the dog. The next combination was pretty straightforward. We didn't see much really go wrong between 10, 11, 12. We saw some of the dogs come in on number 12 if the dogs were opening up there, rather than pushing for the backside or marking it as a backside. I think they're a little bit reserved to move and again pressure the line. We spoke about that before, and therefore we saw a few dogs go in. But otherwise, we had a mixed amount of people that would go down on the right hand side with the dog on the right hand side, and some that would go down on the left hand side. But overall, that combination worked really nicely. We had a couple of people that treated 17 as that thread or wrap, but others that controlled the exit of 15 and then did the blind on 18 or 19. And I think in the majority of situations, we saw the wrap on 21 back towards the handler. Some people actively chose to take the longer route on 21. Maybe the dog just prefers wrapping than slicing, as slicing to wrapping. And then also a majority of people chose to do the wrap. So what are your thoughts? You obviously had a really, really good view from here too.
First, my first thought was that was a brilliant and a completely the best course for intermediate we could have, because these super fast intermediate dogs could gain a lot of speed in this beginning sequence. You already said it, with some difficulties from 3 to number 4. And you can see this acceleration, 7, 8, 9, how the dogs going forward and the handlers were pushing it. That was a pleasure to watch, absolutely. And I think this course was one or maybe not won from the line from 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You said it already. If they choose this safe line, so-called safe line, they lost the tenths of a second or the hundredths of a second they need for a good position. And all the top teams, we see really tight lines from 18 to 21, and I think that was the last part, was the part where this course was decided for the winning runs, and we're going to see these runs. So again, well done, Anders. You can't say it otherwise. Really brilliant one.
Definitely, yeah. We know he likes to. I mean, I think every judge wants focus and control to the end. I think some judges, and I would probably say I'm one of those, probably offer less options at the end of the course. Maybe we just still want that accuracy and the expectations, but there's not many options. Anders has done the opposite here, and that's really, really great to see. And I would say compliments the other judges quite well. And I think as we said, how number 21 and 22 were placed meant that the slice, the shorter route, you would say. The longer route was in this situation the slower route because of the position of 22. If 22 was further down, maybe somewhere further away from 20 on the same angle, going towards the exit of the ring, then you would see a lot more dogs slicing. But I think in this situation, by the time the dogs had come around 21 on the far wing, those that decided to do that, the dogs hadn't fully committed to the line yet. And the more time they spend not committing to the correct line, the more time they're hesitating and they're not accelerating. So the handlers really worked hard. They stepped in a bit on number 19. They really shaped the line on number 20. They did as much as they can to prepare the dog for the wrap on 21. And then they knew that after that first stride, they could see 22 directly in their sights, and they went.
For example, Manuela, from 21 to 22, she turned to the right, and I said, "Oh no, this is a meter. The distance is longer to the goal." And I think she lost.
She didn't mean to. I think.
No, she didn't mean. She didn't want to do it. And a really good save from her into the finish, of course, to get it clear. But I think that would have been the first place for her potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great run. You're right. She did everything right to recover it. I think she ended up having to do it as a rear cross because the dog couldn't see the wing, or maybe she got too close into the wing and showed it. Yeah, she did everything right because she was all in the wrong position up in here. So she really rotated. She opened the arm up and she just threw her arms at it. And we're gonna see her run shortly anyway when we see the top three. So yeah, I think we get right into it. What do you think?
Yes, but I think you talk about the competitors and they talk about the runs. Let's have a look to the runs. And then we saw the first three places. At first, Christelle Rio from France, and then Manuela Satta from Italy, and on the first place, Shani Elmestedt from Denmark. Please give us the runs.
Yeah, so the French are having a really strong showing. So this person did the in. They had the whole line on the left-hand side, and you saw there she did the jump before the weaves as a SERP line. So she didn't do a German or anything. She really controlled the exit of that jump before the weaves. The dog takes a nice looping line. She pushes with the dog all the way on the right-hand side there. She waits there, and that's the benefit of layering that jump, is you can really control the exit. She does it as a backside. She blinds on the inside of that jump. She does a catch good to draw the dog, and she's there waiting. Really efficient handler is Christelle. Really, really efficient. She handled that last section beautifully. She's obviously thrilled, but you can see the benefit of doing that first line from the top section all on the left-hand side. So this is Svetlina, but I think we're going to go straight on to second place now, which was with Manu. Yeah, so Manu was one of the names
you can hear the Italian
watch out
friends,
for at the start.
The Italian fans,
Manuela
Satta,
really good potential here. We have to rely on a bit of luck, but she really showed
last year the World Championships. She had the fast.
I know she's been in Germany for 3 or 4 weeks before this competition, so she's really trying hard to get herself prepared. And you just saw back there. We might be able to rewind that in a second, but you saw that she did choose to do the backside, but she trusted the dog on number 2 and was able to get there for the blind, which showed the dog the line to the tunnel. Again, not the tightest line towards the wall, but it meant the dog could carry all that speed in. And she did that whole line on the left. She did the blind to show the new line. And again, somebody who just did enough there, going through for the blind and drawing the dog. Yeah, you saw she just moved out of the way. If we could, I don't know if we can slow it down, but if we can just repeat that run, just so I can, if you can just replay that run, I just want to go through the key areas there. There's 3 areas there that I'd love for you guys to see again. So I think we're going to repeat that run.
And the next team from
no,
Denmark,
we're going straight on to Chani, no
Chani
problem.
Ellis.
So this is the winner of the
With fame.
of the intermediate, the first intermediate. So again, she chose to do the rear cross on there. So 3 different handling options for the first line for the top 3 dogs, which is just amazing to see. So really nicely out of here. So again, the dog didn't turn that. I did have better grip, so not as wide as the other dogs. It's just covering the ground so quickly. She's connecting on the left. On the right, she pushes out with the left hand. She's in for the in for the blind. She's going to pivot, and she's going to control the exit and drive through that fast line. So it's really, really great that we've seen the top 3 dogs in 3 different positions, and I think we might see her reaction here. She doesn't even realise she's in the lead, and then she looks around, looks up, and then she celebrates, arms in the air. She's happy. She knows she's just gone into the lead at that point, and she's thrilled. So, yeah, I think just looking back at that course, you know, I know you guys can't see it on the screen again, but we saw there that after number 17, we saw that Manu in particular, she decided to keep the dog on the, she almost did what we call a flying. So she kept the dog on the front, on the right arm, on the front cross arm for a bit longer, just to make sure the dog drew in a bit better onto 17, so onto 18. So she did the backside on 17. She just delayed going onto her left arm. She dropped the right arm. She made sure the dog was looking correct onto the correct side of 18 before moving away and doing the blind. So really good in that moment to have that thought pattern, the presence of mind in that pressure situation to make those decisions. And you know, and if we look at Manu again and Chani, they between 18 and 19 to 20, one did a Ketchka there to draw the dog in, and one didn't. One knew that the dog was going to go a bit longer and drive longer because of the angle of the jump, and so she wanted to do that Ketchka just to draw the dog in. So yeah, really, really good, fantastic course. It set us up for Sunday really, really well. Yeah, I think I've managed to say as much as I can about that. Should we talk about the smalls?
Okay, thank you very much for this.
I don't know if you're waiting for me to stop talking or whether you're so engrossed in what I'm saying.
Definitely, I'm hearing to you very, very direct and very complete, and I try to understand all what you say to train my own dog as the same way. Okay. Let's have a look to Team Small. It's the last round, and I think it's a very, very exciting round because we have many cool rounds and cool runs. Team Norway won this round, and they start early at the competition, at the round in this case. I don't think place number 11 or number 12 from yesterday. I don't know the correct. And there was very good. It was a very good round. Okay, let's have a look to this course. We have it here on this side. Please give us the course. Now we have it. Now you see. Yes, Niels, your turn.
Okay. Yeah, so we finally got to see Petra and what she was going to offer over the course of the championships. So yeah, she gave us the the team agility round for the smalls, and it was a really super course. I think it really complemented Alex's. For different reasons, I think people were really up for Alex's. It was the first run. Everyone's been anticipating this competition for many weeks, and we saw really good performances across all the small dogs and lots of really really high standard. And I think this posed a different type of challenge. It was a really open course, but with those technical challenges within the course. So it complemented what Alex did really well. And this is where, you know, if we look at some of the results before I go on to the course thing, we you know, Germany started first and they finished first overall. But Hungary, they jumped from 8th to 3rd. From Belgium, they jumped 6th to 2nd. And, you know, below that, Norway, 11th to 6th. And what that shows is that, okay, maybe the countries that dropped down, they were weaker with one type of course and stronger than the other. And so I think if we wanted to dig a bit deeper, we could say that for sure we had maybe the style of the course from one judge to the other was preferred in the training, or you know, just overall what they expect to see, or what the dog's strengths and weaknesses are, because it's really fascinating to see that movement, and it's not the first time we've seen it, but it's really good to take note and look at it and acknowledge it. So yeah, we saw a really fast course here. We saw a really demanding start sequence all the way up to number 6. And I think we didn't see really much problems apart from the tunnel number 10 becoming an off-course elimination when the dogs came around the backside of number 6. So we saw a lot of people move onto the blind really early from number 6 and maybe didn't quite pick up the dog. And what that causes was the dog to think that the handler was putting a bit more pressure to run forward rather than actually connect with the dog after number 6. And that's why we saw some dogs either refuse the backside or look at the tunnel and get a refusal or elimination if they go into it. Overall, there were some wee faults, but no real problems on number 8. I think all the handlers were pushing super fast onto that line, and therefore we didn't see many problems. Really happy to see a lot of variety from the weaves on number 9. So we saw 9 to 12. We saw a thread or wraps. We saw blinds after the dog walk. We saw blinds before the dog walk. We saw, particularly in the German team, we saw a couple of people do the far wing of number 12, and I think that's really important that we look at our dog's strengths and what we felt we could achieve. So I think the line was there to do the far wing, but obviously it was a lot of pressure to push across the dog on the dog walk, and therefore that's increased the skill difficulty. Just onto this last bit then, we had 15, 16, 17, okay, not so bad, and 18, 19, the handlers were really tiring at this point. I'm sure you saw it from here, and that played a really huge part in the decision making between 19 and 20. It was really great to see handlers blinding after 21 to draw the dog in, or doing the whole thing on the left-hand side. We unfortunately did see some eliminations on 15. That was to be expected. Yeah, they patterned that line a little bit, but overall, I think a really cool course from Petra really helped to show the differing styles between the two judges, and of course that's what we need to see, and Germany came out on top. And Norway did for the round.
Yeah, as you see, we said before the round started, some dogs go after the 21 over the 15 into over the jump, because the competitors perhaps saw only the finish, and they picked up the dogs, and some handlers go here with. We saw Stephanie Simson. For me, it looks really crazy. She went inside, and Bibi, it's risky to come in and avoid the finish.
Absolutely. Actually, Stephanie was a heart and mouth moment for a couple of reasons, because of 21 and 22, because she decided to rear cross. But the other reason was because if you watched her run, she really is really committed to getting the blind in after the dog walk, and she couldn't quite make it. You can just see the moment she backs off and decides, okay, I don't want to get taken out here. I need to think of plan B, and that was to draw the dog for the thread or wrap. But she was really hoping to make it for the blind. But she recovered well. She was measured, and she really didn't let it bother her. She kept her presence there, kept the presence of mind, and she contributed to what was a fantastic day for the Germans.
a little bit of insider information from my interview with the world champions. Let's have a look at this dog walk sequence, 11 and 12. And Max and Tobias decided to do the left side of the backside jump. And then Max gained a fault at the down contact of the dog walk, and Tobias seed it. And he said, oh my goodness, was it the right decision? Was this the right decision? What should I do? What should I do? And he told me the whole run he was thinking about this dog walk. But for heaven's sake, it worked perfectly. But these are the things, of course, these top handlers, they're going to see it.
Yeah.
And you have two options. Do it all in or die. And it was the last run. He had to stay clear.
The pressure's definitely high.
And he handled it, so chapeau to this. Okay.
I don't want to know how pulse, how heartbeat he had. 200 or so? I don't know.
Came out of his throat.
Maybe. Okay, let's have a look to the winning team. The winning team is Team Norway in this round. And let's have a look to the runs of the Team Norway.
Poland, third place is Japan.
Okay, so Kirsty Jorgensen, I think this was the fastest dog for the team as well. So here we see she's going to choose to do the backside. She draws onto that new arm nice and early to show. She really had to push that. Dog, really good commitment there. She really drove this. I mean, the dog just knew like a bullet where it was going. So she's going to run. She's going to sprint. I don't believe she got there for the thread or other thing. She just draws the arm. I mean, it's fantastic. Really good skill knowledge from the dog there. She pushes. She's looking really comfortable here, actually. She's done the hard work, but she just needs to keep her focus now. She's going to open the arm up. She really keeps moving, but really clear signal there. I mean, it's efficient. It's absolutely fantastic, and it was really good start. Really strong start from the team. You could see that she really trusted the dog on the backside here, number 6. She threw her arm out, and she trusted the dog was going to go and look.
At number 12.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yeah, and you could see also number 18. You know, she just opened her arm up, and the dog just knew what it had to do. So this is Burgundy or Granus Burgundy. I can't remember. Sorry, what which way Burgundal. Sorry. So she's a little bit quicker there. She did pick up the refusal. So you can see there that she waited too long to get onto the new arm. So she was still on the right arm, and she was pushing across the line. So that she had two options there. She either had to push and wait with the right arm, or to make sure that she had contact with the dog, or she had to rotate quicker onto the left arm to show the new line. But because she was between one and another, that's why we saw the dog push into the space rather than commit to the jump. So yeah, unfortunately, this does mean that it put a bit of pressure on the other two dogs. Obviously, Norway were knowing that they had a chance of pushing themselves up the ranking, but it just creates a bit of pressure on these last two dogs now. So you need a good third handler, and we know from the results that these two do a really fine job. And I think that's really important. And I think what's really impressive for these handlers is that this happens, is that we were able to that they know that the second handler hasn't done so well, so they need to just acknowledge that, but they need to just put it in the back of their mind, keep to their plan, and focus on the job at hand. So this is the third handler. A little bit of a delay for the timer. But again, doing the blind there, the German there, she really drives that line. So she waits. You just see, okay, the dog still had chance to look at the tunnel, but she just waits and delays on that arm for the dog to see that she wants her to come over the jump. She's pushing heavily now. She's going to make it for the blind. Really nicely done. So you really want to keep the foot on the gas for the dog. And again, into the second backside of that sequence, then she's going to drive up on the seesaw on her right. Just make sure she's getting the seesaw. Really good seesaw there. Really disciplined dog. She really just lunges, throws the arms out just to make sure she gets over there. She gets there for the blind too. And I think if you could trust the in on number 18, I think that's the best way of doing that. You can trust the in, get there for the blind. And control the entrance to the tunnel to make sure they have the commitment to the exit and the turn over the last jump. So last person on the team, no pressure here. They know that they need this clean to have a chance of being on the podium. And I mean, we're just flying. Really, really nice, smooth start to this run. Again, you can see there, good example of rotating early and how that helped. She stood still, she pressed in on the dog's line just to make sure that she could see the weaves. And look at this ability of the independence here. Really, really, really strong. Yeah. Really, really strong. Really trust the dog there. And again, she's going to drive up here. So here, she knows she's not as fast a handler. I remember actually watching this. She was super tired, but she trains that as the rear cross, and she's going to layer this side. She's not quite going to make it there, so she just picks the dog up. And I saw her from the other side, and when she was coming up towards the seashore, she looked puffed. She looked out of breath, but she found that energy in herself. She trusted the flick on number 17, 18, yeah, 17. She opened up the arm, she trusted the in, and she got there for the layer. So really, really strong performance for the Norwegians. And it was amazing to see, okay, the Germans got the overall champion, but when they saw the Germany go into second place for that round, the Norwegians just lifted the roof and were really amazed. And I mean, I think anybody that will challenge the Norwegians in 3 runs, they beat them by, I think, less than a tenth or something. So really, really super impressive for the Norwegians, and really strong. I think we've seen we saw some really good runs from Estonia as well. So the Scandinavian countries are really are imposing themselves on these championships, and that's really, really good.
Yeah, and then let's have a look on the fastest single run. We talked about Renan Campos from Brazil. He has the fastest single run in this complete round. Let's have a look to this round. Give us this round. Or do you want to say something about in front before?
No, maybe just that. I spotted in the results that sometimes we have a really, really strong performance from an individual dog in a team that doesn't do so well otherwise. So Renan was that guy, the dog, I think 5.89 meters per second, fastest dog on a clean run across the competition. And we were trying to figure out which dog, whether it was an Italian dog that would set that standard course time for the rest of the dogs, and that was the dog that for this round was causing the time faults we saw in the overall rankings, because it was just so fast. So yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's watch the run and let's see what really became of.
Now it's time for Renan Campos and Ice.
So really, really, really fast dog. It's choosing to do the in there, so trusted there, felt that he could get a little bit further up. No problems with the backside there. Just like a bullet into the weaves. And he is going to absolutely sprint like Usain Bolt. Yeah. He gets some time in hand. The dog slips a little bit, but not to worry. Now we can just see the performance, and on a course like this, you can see that even for small dogs, it was really good to see how the dogs were able to open up. Really tight line there. Oh my word, I didn't even see that happen. He danced around the jump. He was completely on the wrong side of the jump. The dog couldn't even see the jump properly. I missed that part of that run. Goodness me, 37.63. Yeah, 5 point something. I think 5.7 meters per second. And unfortunately didn't put. I think they finished. I think 11th or something overall, or maybe even a bit higher. So they did pretty well. They were leading at 1 point, so for sure 7th or 8th overall. So a really strong performance from the South Americans.
Yeah, okay, that's the analysis of the runs. Your resume of the complete day, of the second day. What do you think about the competition, Eric, for you, for example?
Again, a wonderful competition day here with wonderful runs, with beautiful runs, with the absolutely right decision of the judges. Yeah. They did an absolutely great job. Good start with Carol. We all talked about it. I'm really satisfied. Well-deserved winners from the single rounds, and of course a well-deserved world champion in small, Germany. I have nothing to complain beside the time measurement system, but that's another topic for sure.
Yeah, that's really another topic. I hope they fix it perhaps in the night, I don't know, and they will do. And Neil, what's your opinion? I think it was an amazing day, really, amazing runs. Fortunately, we have no injured dogs, no injured competitors, and we hope it goes on at like the same.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the timing was a problem on and off during the day, but I think what we need to make sure about is that they try and do what they can to fix it. I think there was a few things going on with it, so let's hope they fix it overnight. I mean, we did have one injury to Nara Cuddy with Lemon. I think the dog is okay, so yeah, sending lots of loves and hugs to make sure that she'll be fit for her runs over the weekend. I think like Eric said, the competition was strong today. I think the judges got the balance of the courses right, and I think we're in for a really, really fun day tomorrow. We've got the team events for the other 3 heights, and we've also got the individual jumping as well for small, so from Corral. So yeah, a really packed day tomorrow. Very busy day, with probably the first of the 3 packed days. We can't believe we're only on day 3 tomorrow, but yeah, a lot all to play for. 3 fantastic days of agility to come, and I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the premiere of Petra Vuplelova went absolutely well. So again, a compliment, Petra. Maybe you're watching. You did an absolutely great job. Of course, Karel too. So what's about the World Championships? Let's talk shortly about this German small team. I give you some impressions for my moderation just from this place. That was absolutely incredible, and it was this moment when my stomach was absolutely cut. I can't say a word, because you've seen this thing, these thrillings coming up, and I want to talk about this mood, this atmosphere inside the venue here. You could see it at the last 10 teams, or the last 10 small teams. The people getting up. They're getting up higher and higher. They're going to cheer. For you, a good atmosphere today here?
I mean, yeah, and I think the proof of that is the number of people here watching. It was packed, and like you said, for a lot of the small competition, actually, it was packed. But definitely, I totally agree with you with how it was boiling down to those boiling up, but it's boiling down to those last 10 teams. When I'll be honest with you, we saw so many clean runs, and okay, we maybe saw the 1 elimination, or the odd elimination, or the 5 faults that really put the team down. But we did also see lots of good performances which pushed those teams up. But yeah, I mean, I think every year everybody expects from the Germans, and I think what's really incredibly impressive, and something which is very hard to comprehend, is that year on year those expectations are there, but year on year they just deliver. And year on year, they don't show you any cracks in their armour. They don't show you any, okay, maybe like we heard from Tobias, there's a worry, but they stand on that start line. They know what's to be expected of them. And, you know, maybe you could say that Max potentially didn't need to do the harder way and risk the 5 faults on the dog walk. Yep. But like we said, it was that way or no way. Yeah. They're not going to, the Germans won't decide to do something more passively or decide to take an easier option. They will take the option that they expect can be fulfilled and completed by their dog, and it's just a testament to their attitude and the training they put in year after year after year, yeah. Day after day after day, second after second after second, and yeah, I think I don't have much more to say other than that they were fully deserved winners, and it's just a pleasure to watch them.
Let's watch it.
Yeah, I've heard we have the winners round of the championship, and yeah, let's have a look to the winners round of Germany, please.
Day 1.
I'll say, I mean, I don't think I need to say much. Let's enjoy watching this just masterclass. We spoke a little bit about Steffi. You just watch her delay her or decide not to go for the blind. You think she's going to make it here, and she backs off and she flicks.
Safe for variation.
And the rest is really, really fantastic. We have this slight hesitation coming now for the in at the end, but again, she doesn't quite make it, so she does really back off and just has enough there to draw the dog over the jump.
I'm not sure if this was planned.
I would probably say not. I can't believe I would. There's often you can say a German individual would like to actively do a rear cross off a tunnel, but anyway, let's sit back and watch these last three dogs for the team of Germany.
Germany needs 3 clean runs to get a World Championship title. And Silas and Gadget doing it absolutely brilliant. Super controlled. Ooh, close thing. A close thing, but I think that was the right correction. And they finish again with a clean 139.95. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 2 opportunities for a clean run. Max sprints and make. And that can be the golden run. If it's a clean run, I'm pretty sure Germany is world champion team small. And now you could have heard a pin drop in this venue. It's getting so silent here. And Max and Meg, they are fighting. Now they're getting a contact zone. 5 points. 5 points for Max and Meg. An absolutely brilliant run, an amazing run from Max and Meg, but they have a fault. They have a fault. Have a look at this time, a 38.63. And now everything depends on Tobias Wüst and Dörte. This super experienced Sheltie that's turning 9 years old in November. And one of the most experienced dog handlers on this planet. Come on, Tobias. And you can hear every single word from Tobias. It's so silent here. That must be a clean one. Come on, let's have a look at the dog walk, at the down contact. They hit it. Brilliant, brilliant. Come on. Through the tunnel, going the backside there. Well done, take care of the seesaw. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be a clean one for Germany and for Tobias. Come on, 2 more to go. Call it! It is a clean one! It is a clean one! 38!
An incredible small competition to see Tobias and Dorte. Yeah, giving a big hug to Thomas. He knows what's just happened, and these pictures is what this is all about, and these are the ones that make you so emotional and know that these people are human. They're not robots, and deep down they give everything. They give their heart and soul, and it's just amazing to see these pictures from the German team coming down and congratulating their teammates for what has been a really good performance in the small team event over the last couple of days. So yeah, just amazing. 6 cleans, and a couple of 5 faults runs, and they've won the title again. So fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think it's time for beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
What?
Time for beer.
Okay, yes, definitely. Oh, I don't heard it. Okay, I think we end the day with really, really amazing pictures, and we can go to bed with a really nice runs in our mind, and we have the first world champion in small for this year at the World Championship 2023. The day is over, and our sports studio goes to the end, and I think it was a really amazing day. We done it. Well done to us. I think.
Well done.
Well done. I think we see us tomorrow morning again. I don't know. Tomorrow morning we see at first
an agility course.
We see intermediate jumping team.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your information. Yes, jumping intermediate.
Set your alarm clock early.
Jumping intermediate team, and I think I'm sure tomorrow we will have again the next world champion. Okay, let's end the day. Let's say have a good night, bye bye, and we see us tomorrow in the same mood. Bye bye, and sleep well.